Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abaticola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tastes like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abaticola and Ferrari.
Hello there, friends, and welcome into Abaticola and Ferrari Discuss Everything. This is episode number 3, and it is called Chester. Yes, this episode of the AFDE show is named Chester. Should we explain, or can we leave it at that? Is that okay?
If you want to know who and why we're naming it Chester, please email afdeshow@gmail.com or tweet us at afdeshow or Facebook us at facebook.com/afdeshow.
So welcome into Chester. He is Ferrari. I'm Abaticola. We are presented to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub, located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. 847-362-6688 is their number. Give them a call. Get your little butts out there. Hang out, have some food, have some great beer. Actually saw Brian over at Finn's on Friday night. My nephew Timothy got married yesterday out in Zion. His lovely now wife is from the Zion area, and they had the service out there at a church in the middle of Zion. Literally, this church was literally built in the middle of Zion. When the Zionists settled in Zion, they made the center of their town this actual church, and then all the roads in the town built away from the church. Really, really interesting. Cool old historical church that they had the service in. But they had the rehearsal dinner Friday night, and then they had it at Mickey Finn. So I was able to get out there and see Brian for a little bit. Loving the first couple episodes, and I know Brian, and I know he will love Chester just as much as he loved the inaugural episode as well as number 2.
Tell him and Chester wants him to send some beer next time.
Yeah, you know what? That's on me just to go there because he said the beer, a growler for us while we're recording our show is there. I just need to go get it and do that, and I totally slipped my mind today. I was more concerned with bringing pizza over today than I was with stopping and getting the growler. So welcome into the show. Hope you've enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and I know that you will love Chester, because who does not love a Chester? Again, he's Ferrari, I'm Abaticola, and so pretty much my week was just looking forward to Timothy's wedding. Timothy and Abigail getting married yesterday. Had a great service. Really fun time Friday night out at Finn's. And just a lot of work, man. HealthGuardian.com. We're really starting to roll and really getting into the new gig I've got of sales and marketing with HealthGuardian at HealthGuardian.com. So it's just that's been busy, but was looking forward to this weekend getting the wedding stuff going. It was fun. Good time with family.
Yeah, no, the weddings are always great, depending on the scale. You know, I mean, varying from the grand extravaganza ones to what it sounds like this one was super simple, but it's just more about the ceremony than it is about the party, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's always good to see people, especially young people. You know, it's crazy that we've been married and kind of gone through the whole thing, and when you're seeing somebody doing it for the first time, it's got to be something special, especially when they're so young. Yeah,
it was a very, very casual setting. Like for the reception, it was just big, long banquet tables. There was no assigned seating. And Timothy even made, a mention. He was like, just sit where you want. It's about just hanging out and having a good time and, being with friends and family. And he was like, go crazy. Get up and switch tables halfway through and talk to other people. And, it really got wild. I actually sat at 3 tables. I took it a little too extreme, I think. They actually asked me to go back to the second table, and I was mingling too much, I think. So they're like, hey, you're mixing it up a little bit too much.
Well, at least you kept your pants on, so it,
I did.
Leaves it.
I did. It wasn't.
Awkward.
Yeah, it wasn't that type of wedding where clothing comes off because it was all alcohol induced. No, this was hang out with family and friends and have a good time, and which it was. It was great, and really excited for Timothy and Abigail. And I know they've got a great, bright future together as husband and wife. So they're actually, I think they're in Michigan today, my brother was saying, and then off to Canada.
Nice.
Off to just to drive around and explore and be outside in nature. And not something I would want to do. Give me a 5-star resort. It's all inclusive. I'm that kind of route. The old outdoors thing isn't my thing.
How old are they?
Young, 20, 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Canada's actually really cool. I assume if they're going up through Michigan,
yeah, I'm
they
not sure
might
where
be
they're
able to
going.
go to,
Yeah, so
because like Windsor's right over the border, which
Okay.
is basically where a lot of people who are underage in Michigan go to party.
okay.
I know I'm not putting your nephew and his new wife in that.
That would definitely not be them.
But
No,
like
not
Windsor
them at
is
all.
still
Yeah.
like a cool area. But I mean, I worked for a Canadian company for 5 years. It's a beautiful area. It's super cool. It's very laid back. So if that's the kind of thing they're looking for, then they chose the right spot.
All right, so one of the big stories that's happening around the Chicagoland area, and it's been talked about for a long time now, is this new Cook County tax on sugary beverages. I've heard about it for a very long time. I've never really had a very strong opinion of it because I don't live and/or shop or purchase things in Cook County, and I don't generally buy any of these drinks. Like I don't buy soda at home or pop, however you want to refer to it, whatever your preference is, or soda pop or cola. Or if you're down in the South and you just call it Coke all the time, even though you want like an orange Fanta, you still order a Coke.
Fizzy lifting drinks.
I don't buy those. I generally have flavored water at home and maybe red wine and some vodka, if even that. But I don't buy cola. I don't buy soda. I'm not a pop guy. But I know this has been just a really polarizing topic and discussion. And I get it now looking into it. I mean, like on a 2-liter of pop, they're charging like an extra 70 cents.
Yep.
That's pretty significant when you're spending like a little over $2 for a 2-liter and they're throwing on 70
Or
cents
not.
extra.
Like if you go to Jewel or any stores that'll do like 5 for $5 or 10 for 10. So those things are like 79 cents each on that special, which means you're paying the 79 cents and then another 70 cents on top of it. Like it's basically like you're buying 2-liters, but you're getting, or you're getting charged for 2, but you're buying 1.
Right. So I get people being angry and being upset about it, but again, on my feelings, personal level, it's not a huge thing just because it doesn't affect me at all. Like the new bag tax, where they charge you 7 cents for like a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't affect me on a personal level. You could go to Mariano's out in Libertyville and be like, hey, can you throw 30 extra bags in that one? Yeah, sure, if you want. That's fine. They don't care. But in the city, you want a bag to carry your stuff out in. And it's gonna cost you 7 cents.
We use my old lady cart that I bought when I used to live in Chicago, or we bring our own like Aldi bags, regardless of what the store is. Like, the Aldi bags are huge. So I don't really drink pop either. It's more like if people come over and want to use it as a mixer, like no one's just pouring like
cracking a
let's
can
have a
of
glass
Coke
of Coke. Yeah,
yeah.
not really. But the one thing I noticed where it would affect, I don't drink it as much anymore, but I don't know, if you go to 7-Eleven after like a workout or like a night of drinking or something like that, you go get a Gatorade or a Powerade or a vitamin water, those have sugar in them and those are on it. So I think that affects a whole different group than people who are just drinking soda.
Right, the big fat fatties who like their soda and need to get through the day.
And then someone who just ran a damn marathon and
Right.
doesn't need to be taxed.
They
'cause
happen
he
to
wants
just want a Gatorade.
get some electrolytes.
Right, and they have to pay an extra $1 for it because Cook County is going to say, all right, that was a sugary tax drink, and now you owe us more money for your Gatorade. And I think part of it, it didn't really bother me because I think people should drink less soda. I think if you are a person that drinks a lot of soda, and our guy, Brendan McCaffrey, drinks a ton of Coke. Well, he used to, and he cut the Coke out of his life, and he just started losing weight.
Right.
And it's just like I want, especially people that I know and care about. It's like, yeah, drink less of it, and maybe you might feel better. You might be a little healthier. But if you're like a big fat fatty, you have to have it to get through your day. Sorry, man, you're gonna have to pay the extra 79 cents.
Remember when he started that? He used to roll into, when we did our morning show, he would roll in with like, what's bigger than the big gulp? It was like you could also use it to, I don't know.
I think they call that the McCaffrey.
Fill it with paint, like a 5-gallon Diet Coke. But no, he stopped doing it when we were doing the show, and like you could tell he was losing weight super fast.
I used to drink the morning shows when I worked Murph and Fred, and I was getting in at like 2:33 in the morning. I didn't drink coffee then. I didn't start drinking coffee until I was almost 40, and I was a Pepsi guy, and I would go through maybe 3 or 4 cans of Pepsi every morning show because that was my caffeine. That's what I needed to start the day. And then when I got off the morning show, I stopped drinking the Pepsi because I didn't need it. Like for we're starting at 8 in the morning or 10 in the morning. I wasn't drinking it then, right? And then we went to the afternoon show. I certainly didn't need it then. Then I started drinking coffee, and I was almost 40, and it's like, so I have a couple cups of coffee in the morning, and I don't drink pop anymore.
No. I don't. Yeah, like I said,
or soda, whatever your preference
is. Unless it's being mixed with Captain, and that's even on occasion. Like I just not really a caffeine guy.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, last time when we were recording episode number 2, again, this is the episode called Chester, and welcome into it, Ferrari and Nevada Cola.
3/Chester.
Chester. We had a couple Captain and Cokes, and I had the Coke Zero, whatever Trish had in the fridge, Diet Coke or Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
And that's just, I hadn't had pop in a while before that, and I won't have it for a long time again.
Well, that Coke
Unless
Zero's.
I come over and you're like, here's Captain today.
Well, yeah.
So today we're drinking Bromosas.
Yes.
So, explain to our friends here what you've given me to drink.
So, well, I think the standard model of, there are mimosas, beer mosas, and bromosas. Mimosas, obviously champagne or sparkling wine and orange juice. Beer mosas are beer, but not like Budweiser, like beer that has a floral or citrus taste to it with orange juice. Bromosas are supposed to be champagne, vodka, and juice. Due to my performance on last week's show, I decided to do, I don't know, maybe we'll make a hybrid of this. It's like a beero-mosa. So I'm not going to be drinking vodka while we're trying to record this.
All right, so I didn't know that these were supposed to have vodka.
That's what a bromosa is. Of course it is.
Better this round.
Yeah, so I went with, and in typical fashion, like if you ever walk into my apartment, it's not like a dorm room in here. It's decorated pretty nice. So I went and got like exotic juices to go with the champagne.
Right. You flew off to exotic lands to purchase exotic juice.
I just got back from the Dominican Republic this morning and incorporate a little mama juana, which is a plant that they make there.
So I guess the moral of the story is if you can't live without your soda, sorry, you're going to have to pay the tax. Now, and if you're an athlete, buy your Gatorade outside of Cook County, do something. Can you order it online?
Get your
can you
Powerade from Canada.
Gatorade online and make it cheaper for yourself?
I bet you can. However, when I order certain things on like Amazon Prime, that would normally be no shipping, no tax. There's a state tax line.
Okay.
So I think Amazon can probably get around most of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I've never ordered like.
Well, if you're in Cook County, go somewhere else and buy your Gatorade. If you're an athlete, if you're a big fat fatty and you need it, you're going to have to pay for it. Now, one of the interesting stories I've heard is that some people are claiming that there were stores that were charging the Cook County tax before it even went into effect.
Right. And so if you guys, if you don't all live in Cook County, I'm sure you've been to Cook County and bought something.
Which, and by the numbers, most people don't, because we have a big audience in Saudi Arabia, Bulgaria.
Yeah. And I don't even know if they have pop there, but
or soda.
Yeah, or probably they do have tax. If you're not wearing a burqa. So yeah, anyway, you just maybe now I'm thinking of Saudi Arabia. I think it just blacked out. Like, oh God, those people are really oppressed.
We're talking about the stores that were charging the tax before it went into effect.
Another thing that I noticed in relation to that is so when an announcement of a tax comes out in the city, some places just decide to adopt it early. I don't know how it's exactly helping them because it's not really explained what the kickback to businesses is.
Right.
To me, it's just we're just finding things that we can tax on to take care of our like shitty economy.
Right.
But I think my cousin Jeremy, who I believe a couple of topics that we're talking about today, where he's going to be our satellite producer on semi-ridiculous stories. So thanks, Jeremy. But the link he sent was like about people buying Gatorade, and then someone else was in line buying 2 tall boys of Budweiser, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper for them to get the beer than it was for them to get the Gatorade with the new tax.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Or like, okay, so a bar or restaurant in Cook County would have to charge more for a glass of soda now, right?
Yeah. I wonder how that works. If it's a mixer, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the logistics. I just know like.
But let's say 2 guys walk into a bar and one guy doesn't drink and one guy orders a Coke, another guy orders a domestic bottle of light beer,
And
and
they're both $4.
that domestic is $1.50 because it's Tuesday and it's special there, and that other guy pays $4 for a glass of soda.
Right. Or, well, because it's $1.50, they're going to pay the Cook County tax, so that's probably $3, which means it still could be cheaper than Coke.
Wow.
I'm not sure how it works on like dispensing versus like buying, a 2-liter. But
So then maybe in that instance, it's better to drink beer than it is to drink soda.
most cases, yeah.
But in any case, you should Uber or Lyft home. Now, you had a very interesting situation that developed in front of you at a Walgreens. Speaking of beer, this is fantastic. I'm surprised you didn't get this guy's name and number and be like, bro, we should hang out.
Oh, all right. So I'm at Walgreens, and it was one of those days where, like, I had to get, I had to get a couple of prescriptions filled. And you go there, they send you a little text. Well, actually, until you tell them not to, you get the email, the phone call, and the text. It's like, yeah, I get it. So go in there to get my prescription, and I needed to get 3 things, and 2 of them are ready. And the other one, do you want to wait? Yes, but you said they were all ready. But okay, I'll wait. So I just lapped Walgreens for a while. Was just looking at random stuff. Bought an air freshener that, as I was telling Matt, it's like so shitty it ended up attracting fruit flies. So that thing is now in the dumpster downstairs.
Our air fresheners contain real rotten fruit.
Yes, awesome. Vanilla my ass. I think there's banana peels in this. But so anyway, I finally was like, okay, I've lapped Walgreens enough. Went and sat in the waiting area. And I was looking at my phone, and I was literally just putting into my notes section some stuff that I wanted to talk about with Matt on today's show. And this guy rolls up, and he kind of just gave me, like a normal nod,
like a bro nod,
like a sup nod.
Sup.
And I gave him the
Sup,
same
bro.
thing, and I looked back down at my phone, and then like I saw him kind of shuffling in his pocket, and he was standing like across from me, and then like I saw something, and I'm like a can, I was like, all right, this guy's gonna open a pop. I don't know, like a can of
or
carbonated water,
Monster
whatever,
energy drink,
something.
Red Bull. Yeah.
And he totally looked like a guy who just his life is dependent on Monster. Those guys who just have like those Monster things that are bigger than your arm that they just crush those things all day. So anyway, I just hear like, all right, I kind of look over. I'm like, oh shit, that's a Bud Light. Homeboy rolls into the Walgreens. Well, just Walgreens in general. This Walgreens does not sell alcohol, by the way, so he didn't get it there. He walked into Walgreens to pick up a prescription, went into the waiting area, cracked a tall boy Bud Light, and sat down and just drank it like it wasn't in any way against the law. And I just looked up, gave him the nod. I think I might have actually even given him a thumbs up. Then they called my name, and I just left laughing.
Yeah. Just so
that
bizarre.
guy.
Yeah, like the fact that like if they sold it there, be like, all right, so the guy bought one, and then his prescription's not ready, so he gets a beer, and he's like, he was gonna drink. All right, fine. You know what? I can even see that story, and that'll work. But they don't sell it there. And he's like,
I even walked around because I was like, I thought, well, I'm here, might as well grab a bottle of wine.
Right.
No, this we don't have liquor here, sir.
So this guy's got to go pick up a prescription, and on his way, he's like, you know what? I always have to wait at this Walgreens to get my prescription. I'm going to stop at another place, get a tall boy, or bring the one he had from home, bring it with him, knowing he was going to be sitting there waiting. Well, if I'm going to wait, might as well have a beer while I'm doing it. Fine.
Oh no, it's fine.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how I worded it on
applaud the guy.
Facebook, but I just said I'm speechless. ... in a good way.
Yeah, kind of impressed.
It's like, I'm not saying you should be going everywhere. Like you shouldn't roll into like a wake with a 6-pack or something. But this was when they make you wait. It was kind of like fuck you.
Yeah, I've never had, and I don't get prescriptions on a regular basis, and it's very few and far in between. But every time I go, they're never ever ready when they say they're supposed to be ready.
No,
never.
Nope.
Never.
I get called and then
you can do the whole. All right, it'll be ready in a half hour. Would you like us to call you? Yeah, that's great. Because I'm 5 minutes away. I'm going to go home. You call me and I'll come back. And then you never get the phone call. So it's like there's always some kind of.
Or they call you when you're in the parking lot.
There's always some kind of like disconnect somewhere between a pharmacy and getting a prescription. It's either you never get that call, you never get that text alert, or it's never ready when they say, yeah, come back in a half hour.
Well, their brain's got to be on a little bit of a delay because I'm sure they're taking a sample just to make sure it's air quote good.
Well, I guess it depends what kind of prescriptions it is.
Yeah, we've noticed that your mood has changed a lot, Dr. Steve.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I've had antidepressants, uppers, downers, a couple of back pain pills, and I think I've just lost some weight. Also, I don't know why I keep rubbing my nose repeatedly. Is this what cocaine is like?
Well, if Walgreens sold that, they might make more money. You could get that at the pharmacy at Walgreens. Here's another great story that I really love because we were talking earlier about the big fat fatties and being angry about their soda pop. There's a class action lawsuit that was filed against Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if you heard this story. A customer has filed a suit against Dunkin' Donuts alleging misrepresentation on the grounds that its blueberry butternut cake, blueberry cake donut, and blueberry crumb cake donuts do not contain actual blueberries, but instead they use sugar and corn syrup crystals that were dyed blue. As it was reported, due to their blue color and round shape, the flavor crystals and blueberry flavored bits are inserted strategically on the inside and outside of the blueberry products to induce unsuspecting customers into believing that the products actually contain real blueberries. So I heard that and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're suing Dunkin' Donuts over the fact that they don't. So I'm sorry that your deep fried goodness doesn't contain actual fruit, you big fat fatty. Sorry, that's fake fruit. It's sugar crystals that are dyed blue to make them look like blueberries.
It doesn't seem like it. I don't understand how it's surprising information.
Right.
Like how many.
Like, did you actually think that they were making like these super fresh, healthy crumb cake donuts filled, like just chock filled with blueberries and antioxidants that are going to help your heart?
Yeah. Do you ever notice that unless. Well, A, something happens and they're forced to, or B, they make a big deal and a big marketing campaign about like how, hey, we're not using horse anymore. You know, like,
come eat our tacos.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
we use real beef now
instead of the blue sugar that we're putting in here. That's going to be a blueberry.
Right.
No. None of these people. It's fast food. None of these places are. Or organic. This isn't Whole Foods.
Well, except I think McDonald's, because they sell muffins now, but they've made a big point in their campaign to say
about all their food. That they're making significant changes because people are dying.
But here's the thing, though, and I actually really do enjoy. I like donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. I try not to eat them, but
donuts.
But if the boys want them, I get them, and I'll have to have one. And I'm usually a strawberry frosted guy, but I do occasionally like the blueberry
that and marble.
The marble frosted?
The marble and the strawberry. And actually a maple. Those are, like, I kind of alternate
I don't do the maple,
but I'm big. I
love bacon.
But I like the strawberry.
Strawberry frosted is my favorite. That's always my go-to. But then I'll switch it up once in a while with the blueberry cake donut. And I love them, but I never once ate it thinking, oh, I'm eating a handful of fresh blueberries inside this deep-fried goodness.
I can't believe how good my skin's going to look after I dominate this bag of donuts.
But not only that, it's like, then you're going to go and take it one step further and sue them because you're that dumb? You're not putting real blueberries in my donuts. I'm angry at you.
How many, honestly, like, if I wonder if we could find a percentage of lawsuits against food-serving businesses where it wasn't people who were just dumb. Like, I know that there are legitimate claims out there, but for the most part, I do not have a ton of faith in the consumer. I think that they just don't pay attention to fact, assume things, and then blame it on them because, I don't know.
The public is generally dumb.
Yes.
Generally dumb. I mean, if you go with that perspective...
Except for our listeners, of course. You guys all know real blueberries.
Right. I mean, you guys would never think there's actual real blueberries in a blueberry Dunkin' Donuts donut. But, of course, reading the story, where it takes my mind is to one of the greatest movies and greatest movie scenes of all time in Casino, where Robert De Niro has an issue with the amount of blueberries inside the blueberry muffins.
I have to let them know I'm watching all the details all the time, that there is not one single thing I will not catch as I am over here.
Look at yours.
What? Look at that. Look at this. There's nothing. Look how many blueberries your muffin has and how many mine has. Yours is falling apart. I have nothing. What are you talking about? It's like everything else in this place. You don't do it yourself, it never gets done. Where are you going?
I love the chef.
How long can this go on? From now on, I want you to put an equal amount of blueberries in each muffin. An equal amount of blueberries in each muffin.
You know how long that's going to take?
I don't care how long it takes. Put an equal amount in each.
All right. Yeah, a little bit extreme there, old Bob, but just great. And so I immediately thought of that with the Dunkin' Donuts story. And, this is a guy going to some 18-year-old kid working part-time in Dunkin' Donuts for, $8 an hour. He wants, not only does he want real blueberries in his blueberry donuts, but he wants an equal amount of blueberries in every.
Look at that chef's face. Do you have any idea how long that's going to take?
I don't care. Equal amounts. Equal amounts.
Oh, that's so good.
That's great. So, if you are a person that loves the blueberry donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, hey, surprise, not real blueberries. We're going to take a brief time out. This is the Abaticola and Ferrari podcast. Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. Follow us on Twitter at AFDE Show, on Facebook at facebook.com/AFDE Show. AFDE Show at gmail.com is your way to communicate with us, if not through Twitter and or Facebook. We are brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's first brew pub. It's AFDE Show.
You surprised? Surprised, Eddie? If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
You're listening to AFDE Show, Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything podcast. This is episode 3, also known as Chester. He's Ferrari. I'm Abaticola. And I saw this wonderful story. This is just absolutely incredible. There is an app, Jason, that you can download for your phone. And what it does, it's called the Places I've Pooped app. And I love talking about poop. I love to poop. I'm like
the word poop.
I'm like an infant. I wake up, I poop. I eat, I poop. I poop a lot.
These are all on the toilet, though, right?
Yeah, no, not in my pants. I have a very healthy system that allows me to poop on a very regularly basis. Yes,
okay.
Which is very important for a man of my middle age. But Places I've Pooped, it's an app that lets you drop a pin on a map every time you poop. Now, I think it's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea because I talk a lot about road games. I love road games, and I'm actually putting together a coffee book table of road games. Not the actual pictures of the poops, but the great places that I've actually pooped on the road.
Do you mean a coffee table book?
What did I say?
Coffee table or coffee book table.
Yeah, a coffee table book. Exactly. Thank you.
Actually, no, because I really want it to be better that someone could just go get a table that looks like a book that has poop locations.
Well, I could actually make the book big enough to pull legs out and make it into actual coffee table.
Kramer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to do this coffee table book about great road games. So not the actual games themselves, but about the fantastic bathrooms that I've discovered in my life where I've had road games at and take pictures of the actual bathroom or the stall. 'Cause the very best road game I ever had was at a Restoration Hardware. The stall was large. And it was the nicest bathroom I've ever pooped in.
With the cost of that place,
on the road.
I would not be surprised.
Right, it shouldn't be surprising there. Also, I think we were in maybe downtown St. Charles for a moat, and I walked into a hotel that was in downtown St. Charles to use the bathroom because I needed to go and didn't want to do it at a bar. And they had a fantastic bathroom in the lobby.
The really nice place in St. Charles,
yes.
like downtown.
Yeah,
that's where Jenny McCarthy and Donnie Wahlberg got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked at the pricing.
Well, they had a great bathroom. In the lobby
if I would have known that, I would have put a deposit down purely for the shitter.
Now, the worst road game I ever had was at a bar on Remote when I walked in. And imagine a wall of urinals. So there were 5 urinals, one after the other, without dividers between them. After the 5th urinal, Jason, there was an actual toilet without walls, without a stall. Yeah. So I was literally inches away from the final urinal, and I had to go. I couldn't leave. The show was on. So I pooped. And I'm sitting there pooping and thinking, all right, somebody walks in. They're just going to be right there and seeing me poop.
Yep.
Of course, a guy walks in to use a urinal. Which urinal did he choose?
Oh, it's got to be the closest one.
The one closest.
Always closest.
So my right leg was inches from his right leg as he was standing at the urinal, and I'm sitting at the toilet. And I just looked up, and I'm like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I'm like, of all the urinals in all the world, you had to walk in and use this urinal next to my toilet. So this is an app that allows you to drop a pin on a map to let you know where you pooped. But here's the best description, though. So it's an app that allows you to drop a pin on a map every time you poop, so you can compare locations and frequency with your friends. Hey, dude, I was looking at your poop map, and I saw that we pooped in the same area Tuesday.
I'm not gonna lie, it seems like we just both crushed shit at Applebee's.
Dude, when did you poop at Applebee's? I was there at 3 o'clock. Oh, I was there at 4:30. So I guess, if you want to really, if you're into it and you talked with your friends about your poops and you want to compare the frequency and the location, then this is the app that is made for you.
I feel like this shows us like how much fantasy sports are effing up our society. I think people are actually going to turn this into some kind of a fantasy pooping competition.
All right, so then that led me into this next story because then I Googled and I'm like, all right, if there's an app out there that allows you to track your poop and you could pin it and map it, and oh, by the way, there you just had that up there. We didn't do that, did we?
No.
Here, we'll do that right now. So we've had now this is episode 3. This is known as Chester. We've had almost 11,000 downloads of our first 2 episodes. So we want to thank all of you for listening to Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything, the podcast. But I have some encouragement I want to give to our brothers out in Italy, France, Bulgaria. The download numbers are real low in those areas. So if you're listening in Italy or Bulgaria or France, please tell your friends, your coworkers.
Tell your paisans.
Yes. Get your paisans. You're at the cafe having a baguette. Mention to someone.
Tell
hey,
them over a smoke.
Right, I'm listening. Yeah. You're having a pancake and a smoke. Tell them, hey, I'm listening to Abaticola and Ferrari Discuss Everything. You should listen to it too. Big shout out, though. Big props to our friends in Saudi Arabia, New Zealand, really doing well. The United States, of course, totally coming through for us, which we expect. Other regions really kicking some butt too, as well.
We don't know what that means.
Right.
Other regions, but I believe there's another thing.
The United Kingdom doing well with 11 downloads, so
yeah,
you're doing good, but you can certainly do better. Certainly do better, and I would think that the royal family has got to be listening to us.
Oh,
and if not,
totally, and
someone should tell them
on a national level. I know that at least last week's, and we will continue to do it. We talk like shit about Ohio State and them sucking, and the number was 117 the first week. It was 117 last week, and the number is 117 now. So no one new person from Ohio has listened since us saying, I hate Ohio State.
Once we talked bad about them, they would stop listening. Wisconsin, you're doing well for us, though. We appreciate that. Of course, Illinois, you guys are doing the best. Between Illinois and Saudi Arabia and Bulgaria, we should be making millions before no time.
World domination.
That's right. Well, we talked about it. We said, where do we want to do well? And I said, let's do well in Illinois, Saudi Arabia, and Bulgaria, and we should be just fine. So there's an app out there that you can track where you poop and how frequently you poop. So here's what I found, Jay. I didn't tell you about these. Maybe you've heard of some of these. Maybe you actually have some on your phone. But I'm going to throw these at you, and we'll just get your reaction to it.
We'll just do rapid reaction.
The 10 weird mobile apps you won't believe you can download. Now, this will only contain 9 because the poop app was on this list. The number 1 weird app, a location-based social networking app called Cuddler, lets you find people in your area to cuddle with. Cute or creepy?
Well, let me understand something first. Is this number 1 just in terms of you're reading it, or is
just
this
in
like
terms of
ranking?
In terms of reading it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying. Ranking might change my answer.
These are just 10 weird apps you can download, and
it's fucking weird.
Cuddler.
Man.
So you want to reach out
creepy.
and get a total stranger to come over and cuddle with you?
Find a friend and give him a hug, man. Am I gonna find? No, that's weird.
Okay. How about this one? Demotivational pics. Keep that frown upside down. Make a bad day worse with an app that reminds you just how crappy things can be.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
I like that one.
I feel like I designed it.
This one I think I'm going to download. It's called Car Matey. Forget where you parked your car? This app can tell you in a pirate voice. It's the Car Matey.
Dude, that is awesome. I will download that.
I love that one.
Oh, my God.
It's CARRR Car Matey.
Oh.
And it's free. I love it. Absolutely great. This is the Places I Pooped app. All right, here's one called Run Pee. Wondering whether now is the time to relieve yourself of that red slushy you just sucked down? Run Pee will tell you when you can run and pee without missing anything big in a movie. So you're at a movie, you've got to pee, you're thinking, am I going to miss something? So this app will tell you, you just punch in the movie you're watching, where you're at in the movie, and it'll tell you if you're going to miss something big the next few minutes.
I don't even understand how that's possible.
Completely useless.
No. I mean,
dumb.
If they've somehow figured that out,
yeah,
which I don't believe, still dumb. Dumb.
All right, so here's a great app. This app takes really well-known pictures, and what it does, and what this picture needs, is more cat. It's called cat paint. So it'll take well-known pictures and add cat. All right, your face is enough.
If you could see the stab face that I'm making right now, no. Absolutely fucking not.
All right, so
sorry
cat paint
if
is
you
not
love
for
cats. I think we're all good with cat apps.
All right. How about this one? If you find pimple popping therapeutic, this app makes a gross little game out of it. It's called Pimple Popper. It's where you get to pop a pimple on your phone.
Dude, that's gross.
It is disgusting. Very disgusting.
It's not just that people think that there's an audience for this. It's that people think that there's an audience for this.
Right.
Why are you designing a pimple popper game?
All right, here's another one. This app does one thing only. It says yo to someone else, and it's called Yo. It's an app you can download for free, thankfully.
Can they just pay me so I can just send people the yo text that I send normally?
Well, it's audible. Maybe you can just, so you want to hear and just yo.
All right, cool then, Matt.
Yo.
Hey, on our next show, whatever we're going to name it, we're going to come up with the Sup app.
Sup.
Stupid.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. No, if we bring that back and someone pays, perfect.
Well, we talked about movies last week, and a guilty pleasure of mine is Kevin Hart, and then they did Central Intelligence, him and The Rock.
Yeah.
Remember The Rock sends him that video link on their Facebook as their Facebook messaging. What's up? What's up? That was great.
Is that still a thing?
If you're a young person, go Google that.
When you're done with this, you just reminded me of something.
All right, here's one, two more. Spirit Story Box. It's ghost hunting tool. This app speaks ghost. You use it to get a translation of what the ghosts that are currently around you are saying at that moment.
What is it, like in Swahili? What?
No.
What is ghost language?
So let's say that it just tells you. I'm sure it'll tell you in English, but let's say you and I are hanging out and it's nighttime right now and you're telling me that this room is haunted. We would download this app, we would play it, and it somehow
only the app can sense it?
Yeah, it can determine what the ghosts are saying around us right now. I believe that it's 100% accurate, too.
I think it's 100% dumb.
All right, here's the last one, and this goes along with pooping a little bit, so I kind of like it. It's called paper racing. You know what would make bathroom activities more fun? Competition. Race your friends to see who runs out of toilet paper first. There are no winners in this game. The cost is your dignity, but otherwise it's free.
Like in a day, or are you given like 4 squares?
No, we start a whole fresh roll. We have the same roll of toilet paper. We start fresh at the same time. Hey, I'm loading up a new roll. I'm loading up a new roll as well, and we start the app and we see a game.
All
we see who runs out of toilet. So basically,
factors in who's eating White Castle.
It's called who poops more,
and who needs their plunger.
Right. Hey, who poops more, me or Jason? I've wondered. Let's make an app.
That really seems like an over wiper.
We can race toilet paper. All right. So out of our list of the 10 most weird apps you can download, I think we're both going to use the Car Matey.
Oh yeah.
So we'll download that.
I'm probably not losing a car anytime soon. But the app's just funny as hell.
I never have, so I think I'm going to do that though. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to download it, deliberately lose my car, and then download Car Matey.
Oh my god!
All right. Well, those are the 10 most weird apps that are out there. Of course, download Places I've Pooped, and you can start keeping track of your poops along with Jason and myself as we track our poops and pin them for you.
TV show Poop Tracker.
The Poop Tracker. We'll add that to the website.
I'm so glad we got pop filters for that segment. Poop.
What did that make you think of?
Oh, no, not pooping, but you bringing up the movies from last week. Actually, a couple of people, my brother Chris had suggested, and I completely agree with both of these things. He had suggested we'll go into like guilty pleasure movies that aren't good, like the worst ones that for some reason you still watch, which we can do in
but that is the whole concept of guilty pleasure is something that is bad,
right?
So it's not something that's supposed to be good.
But I mean, I think what he's referring to is ones that clearly a large section of our audience completely agrees that we watch. Just by Twitter alone, we totally watch those too. But he's talking about just ones that you're embarrassed about, that are your personal one, that other people would be like, no.
Well, yeah, and that's what a guilty pleasure is, and that's why for like me, Bodyguard is a guilty pleasure. Like, I'm embarrassed to say that I've watched Bodyguard 38 times.
Once,
maybe more.
Kind of sad for you, but
all
right. And then so my wife's matron of honor, Jess, she just gave me a quote as she was saying she loved episode 2. And that women's guilty pleasure movies are so different than men's. And I'm like, please send me a list. So I think we should throw that out to our female listeners. because I would love to. I think that would be hilarious. I would love to talk about what women's guilty pleasure movies are.
All right, you can email us afdeshow@gmail.com or at Twitter at AFDE Show, Facebook.com/AFDE Show Connect. Any one of those ways. If you have a wife, a girlfriend, a sister, a mom you're really close to, and you live in her basement, and you want to send out her list of guilty pleasure movies for women, do so in any one of those opportunities, Twitter, Facebook, or email. All right.
I bet Grease 2 shows up at least once or twice.
I've never seen Grease 2.
I think I saw like the beginning, and then I was like, yeah.
Grease is a classic. Grease 2, yeah, no desire. You've had a very busy book week. I'm currently not reading any books other than my Bible on a regular basis to make myself a better person. But you're reading books. You did about 900 pages this week.
Yeah, like
2 books,
like 850, 2 books. Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's a good little clip there to get through.
Well, I decided, yeah, I've been.
What did you read?
We've both been binge watching TV too much, so my brain needed to flex a different muscle other than like. The funny thing is, like, when you binge watch in a row, you don't even have to do anything. It'll auto-play the next step. It's like there's no work required other than to sit there with your eye open.
Well, the only time I feel real pathetic about it is when Netflix asks me if I'm still watching. Are you still watching Ozark? Are you still watching?
Hey, loser, check your pulse.
Right. Hey, anything else to do in your life? Any friends, family, maybe a job? Are you still watching West Wing? Then I'm still watching.
Yeah, it's like 7 years later. Yeah, I'm still watching West Wing. Get over it.
Sorry, I haven't moved in 4 hours. Netflix, you judgmental bastard.
Hey, you know what? Instead of asking me if I'm awake, why don't you order me a fucking pizza?
What did you read this week?
Why don't you send me a beef sandwich? Let's see. So this week I started reading. I'm sure people know who Judd Apatow is, and his book is called Sick in the Head. It's really cool, actually. So it's a series of essays. Basically, it's a series of interviews. And I can actually really relate to something that he did. So back in 1983, when Judd was in high school, he kind of felt, not on purpose, but 83, was really into comedy, would record Saturday Night Live, anything you can imagine. I kind of would do the same thing. But this guy would start reaching out to comedians, publicists, and saying that he worked at a radio station, which he did, his high school radio station. Wouldn't say that, just that I work at a radio station and would they'd be open to an interview. And he's interviewed everybody from like Seinfeld and Robin Williams and Steve Martin, all in like 83.
Well, here's the real quick: Adam Sandler, Albert Brooks, Amy Schumer, Chris Rock, Eddie Vedder, Gary Shandling, Harold Ramis, Harry Anderson, James L. Brooks, Jay Leno, Jeff Garland, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Carrey, Ben Stiller, Jimmy Fallon, Jon Stewart, Key and Peele,
Key and Peele, yeah.
Key and Peele, sorry. Lena Dunham. Is that the girls thing?
Yeah.
Leslie Mann, Louis C.K., which I'm sure that Leslie Mann interview was really hard for him to get. Mark Maron.
She just made fun of him the whole time.
Martin Short, Mel Brooks, Michael O'Donoghue, Mike Nichols, Miranda July, Roseanne Barr, Sandra Bernhardt, Sarah Silverman, Seth Rogen, Stephen Colbert, Steve Allen, Steve Martin. Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so he gets a lot of the ones in 1983 when he's a sophomore in high school. And then there are some repeats that he got back in like 2012 to 2014 being like, do you remember when like this pimply faced kid like came and did this interview? And it just sounds like everyone was really, really respectful to him. I mean, because a lot of these guys were big, but not huge. Like think about Seinfeld, all those guys in 83. That was like when they were right on the cusp, like right on the cusp of superstardom. They had just maybe done the Tonight Show once. And then you talk to these guys in 2014 and they run the comic universe. Right. So it's very interesting. It's like, it was a really, really cool
So you enjoyed
book.
that one, and then the other one you read this week was?
Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not 100% my style, but I do relate to it. It's basically Chuck Klosterman is the author, and he kind of just does, if you think of like Seinfeld on steroids, like he does very, very in-depth, literal opinion analysis of certain topics. And in this book, it could vary anywhere from, which the one that made me laugh the most was how much he hates soccer. I was like crying. I had to read it again because I was laughing so hard I missed stuff.
Well, the section you sent me was great.
Oh, and then like the section on how sports writers hate sports and but he does this whole thing on like how he feels like Saved by the Bell is important to society. Like, and as you read this, you're like, oh, shit. It's a really, really, I mean, it was like 245, 250 pages. So I read it in 2 days, but it was an easy read, but it's just, I don't know. It's really cool. It's interesting. I just like to hear someone who takes a look at pop culture, because everyone discusses pop culture, but I don't know how much they analyze it.
Right.
And he broke it down in such a way where I'm like, oh, God, I would have never. I just love when people do that, where you never think of it a certain way.
All right, send your book suggestions to Jason. Give him ideas of what to read. Even send him books. He'll give you his address to mail it to him, afdeshow@gmail.com. And you mentioned the binge watching, which is, which I watch at night. I have my shows I watch. Go through a long work day and watch a couple episodes of a show. I got through Ozark last night, finished Ozark, the Jason Bateman, Laura Linney new series on Netflix. It was 10 episodes, got through it. It was fantastic. And Bateman was a director, star, producer. I mean, his work is all over it, and he is just absolutely outstanding. He's a financial guy from Chicago that ends up working for a drug cartel, laundering their money, and has to move down to Missouri, to the Ozarks, and launder money for a drug cartel. And a lot of bad stuff happens, as you can imagine, but just really, really well acted, well written, and just really enjoyable series.
It's cool. You know what? It's starting to remind me of HBO back in the day, where they would come out with a series, and you're like, well, honestly, like they just could do no wrong. And then, I think once you get into some content difficulties, trying to find new ideas and stuff, it gets a little oversaturated. So I'm not going to say I used to be, every show on HBO is amazing. I'm not going to lie, though. Netflix original programming is pretty kick-ass, man. You can tell when there are no restrictions. They shoot on location. The stories are great. They can really do whatever they want, but it's not like dirty for the sake of being dirty. It's just like, if sex is required for a scene, like it supports the point. Like, it's just really cool. They make really great original stuff, but this show is awesome, and it's another one of those scenarios where it's fun to watch someone who already know is a very talented comedian be able to turn in a really good dramatic performance, right. And he just slays it. They all do. They're all very good in this show.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good series. Again, 10 episodes, Netflix, called Ozark. If you haven't heard it or checked it out, you should do that. And then when I was going through Netflix yesterday, I saw a series that really caught my eye because of the lead actor. Have you heard of the Santa Clarita Diet?
Trish watched it. I
never
know you and I both love Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, I am a huge fan. So yeah. I haven't never even heard of it until I saw it there on the menu. And it's about Timothy Olyphant and Drew Barrymore are a couple in California. Barrymore's character suddenly starts craving human flesh, so she's like eating human flesh. The show works really well. She starts feeling really strange, and when she projectile vomits so much liquid it makes the house like she's in a showing, like she's a crime scene. Something clear is not right. So it's a comedy, but they're a husband and wife with kids and like a normal couple in California. But for whatever reason, so the premise kind of throws me off. Like it takes my desire away to want to watch. But I'm going to give it a whirl because it's Timothy Olyphant's first TV work since Justified.
Right?
And I'm a huge fan of that guy.
My wife really liked it, but it was just one of those things too, where I was like, okay, if you would just say there's a Netflix original show with Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant, and they run a fucking shoe store. Yep, I'm going to watch it purely because I like Drew Barrymore and I fucking love Tim. Like, I think that guy is a badass actor. But when you bring in the whole zombie shit, I'm so fucking sick of the zombie shit.
Yeah, but it gives you a different spin, though, on the
okay,
zombie
fine. But
thing.
now it's desperate housewives who eat fucking people. Like, give me a break.
I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'll give. But here's the thing, though, with me, and I can generally tell with new songs or movies or TV shows, I know within minutes if I'm gonna like it.
Agreed.
Or not. So I'll throw the first episode on. I'll start it and we'll see where it takes me.
If he just does a really funny monologue and she's topless at the beginning, I'll watch that part.
Yeah, but the pictures I've seen online, it's not her best work.
Oh yeah, but she still has the great boobies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonder if she eats her own boobs.
Or someone.
Would that be an
boobs.
episode you like that?
Oh, if it's just a whole they like motorboat then eat. Okay, fine.
She motorboats her own boobs.
That'll be episode 4, the motorboat. Done. The motor brunch, whatever you want to call it.
This is episode 3. It's called Chester. He's Ferrari. I'm a Baticola. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's original brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville.
Have you ever been with a girl, Forrest?
I sit next to them in my home economics class all the time.
All right, you've got episode 3 of Baticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. Get us on Twitter at AFDE Show, Facebook.com/AFDE Show, email AFDEShow@gmail.com. We are presented to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub. You can follow them on Twitter at Mickey Finn's. They're located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful downtown Libertyville.
The episode name is Chester.
Yep.
Open for debate on if it's ER or OR, but we'll figure that out in post. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, we wanted to get into a couple other stories before we wrap up, but one of the things that I've been talking to Matt about for the last week or so was about a recent experience I had at the Chicago Public Library. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I've been to a couple of libraries, one in like the South Loop, the Harold Washington one downtown, the one in Evanston, and the one on the north side. They're pretty standard library books.
It's where they have books,
people,
right?
Yeah, people doing things like reading the books and whatnot. Quiet, very quiet place. So I got off the train the other day, and I just wanted to go check out, I don't know, I wanted to see what our local library in Andersonville is. I guess it would be the Edgewater Library. Roll in there, find a seat, sit down, kind of looking around. I was like, all right, so I open my computer, Wi-Fi works, you know, we're firing on all cylinders here. And then, like, someone sits next to me, but, you know, it's kind of like Matt telling the toilet story from earlier. Like, there are 12 seats at the table, and the guy sits next to me, and then proceeds to kind of, like, take off, like, 9 layers of clothes, like, various jackets and hats and whatnot, and then, shit you not, pulls out, like, a 2-liter of Pepsi, and it's just like, shh. And it's like he's just sitting there. He was wearing like a red coat. He looked like the greatest American hero. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah, of course.
I swear to God, like that. And he was like Napoleon Dynamite looking dude. Sat down.
Look at what's happening to me.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on in.
One of the great songs of all time.
Yeah. So he just starts crushing a 2-liter of Pepsi, not reading, not doing anything, not looking at me, just looking forward. So I'm like, all right. So I'm kind of back down to my laptop. Another guy walks up, and I kind of just glanced and saw he had like it was Asian writing newspaper. It's like, okay, well then they either brought it or you're able to get that here. Either way is cool. So he starts reading the Asian newspaper aloud. So I've got, you know, Captain Weirdo to my right, chugging Pepsi. Directly across from me, a guy reading an Asian newspaper out loud
in the library. Okay.
Then 2 more people roll up with a chessboard, and just envision any like rom-com about New York where there are those old guys who just talk shit to each other and play chess in the park.
That's it.
They did this in the library right next to me, and I'm normally I would just get up and leave, but at this point I'm like, all right, we have a show, and this is going to be good fodder, so like. I'll just keep going.
I want to see what else happens.
Yeah. So this lady comes in and doesn't know how to use the computer, and this guy who's clearly...
but here's the thing, though. It was your computer. She just
walked up and took my laptop.
I don't know how this works.
What's the password? No, so she didn't know how to use her computer. So this guy's like, oh, well, we have a hard time with this laptop all the time. Let me get another one. You know, in my mind, I'm like, well, then why do you keep using the same shitty laptop? But anyway, so he finally gets in. But once she gets into the laptop, she has no idea what she's looking for or doing. And so, like, that whole scenario is going on. And then this guy walks up, and he pulls a chair up to my left. So I'm at the far left end of this table.
Okay.
Pulls a chair up and is, like, sitting, but not, like, under the table, like, just directly left of me.
Okay.
Just sitting. Doesn't say a word.
Great.
And I'm just like, I'm wondering if this guy's going to start drinking this other dude's Pepsi. You know, like, you know, now I'm starting to look around, and there's something weird is happening in this place. And then I was like, all right. So I get up and I walk around. Same shit's happening, like in like different disparities at every table.
Okay.
Just very weird people. Like I was telling you, it was like being at the DMV where everyone's kind of like irritated and no one's helping anyone with the illusion of someone being helped. Like it was just really awkward and uncomfortable. So I'm like, God, I grab my backpack and everything. I go over to the window. And I'm
jumped out.
No, jumped out the window. And I'm just standing there, like my back hurts and stuff. So I'm like standing, using my laptop, and just facing out because I just wanted to see like all this going on.
Take it all in its glory.
Oh my God. And then this other guy comes in and he starts screaming at the librarian, and I think it was Polish. It was just amazing. I've never been in a library where like it almost seemed like you were rewarded for being loud. Whereas my normal library experiences are people are whispering and it's looked down upon if you're being a loud asshole. No. This is amazing. So go to the Edwardsville Public Library. Or Edwardsville? Apparently we're in Southern Illinois.
Wow.
Edgewater Public Library. Super hilarious. I mean, like, if you want to get anything accomplished, not so good.
Not going to happen.
If you want to do some amazing people watching for free, good spot.
Well, it's funny when you mentioned that and said it's like being at the DMV, and it just made me think of experiences at the DMV and how it's just the customer service there is the main part of what they do, yet it's the thing that they're the worst at.
Because they don't want to be there.
Right. They don't want to be there.
It's just a big building of resent.
And so that's what the sign outside says, a giant building of resent. It reminded me of the story that I'd saved for the podcast and came across, and it made me think of the DMV, because the DMV should definitely be on this list. These are the best jobs for people who don't like people. Okay. Now, the people that work at DMV clearly don't like people. Now, dealing with the public at any time is treacherous work. It's dangerous work. It really takes its toll on a person. So if you hate people, these are the jobs that are made for you because you never deal with people. And here they are. Foundry mold and core makers. They make form wax or sand cores or molds used for the production of metal castings and foundries.
Do they even like themselves?
Probably not, right?
Well, there's a barrel of interest in that industry.
Number 2, watch repairers.
Yeah, I've had them. I've had it done. They were nice, but yeah, they definitely like to just duck and work.
Number 3, quarry rock splitters. So think of Fred Flintstone.
No, now I'm thinking of like inmates in movies.
Oh, they actually give, this is great too, they actually give required sociability scores. And those first 3 jobs require a sociability score of 58. Number 4, agricultural equipment operators. Number 5.
Like they fix tractors and stuff?
I guess, or work on tractors, cultivate, harvest crops, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I guess they have
being
to
a
talk
farmer.
to farmers. But,
being a farmer, maybe?
Well, yeah, but they like people, I think.
Well, they need people.
True.
People. Mathematicians. Now, they don't mean like teachers either, just real actual mathematicians, because you never deal with people. You just
well, yeah. I mean, there are movies about the renowned mathematicians with just top-notch people skills.
Economics. An economist can get into just working on reports, preparing economic problems related to production, distribution of goods, service, blah, blah. Required sociability score of 57.5. Potters. You know what a potter is? They operate production machines such as a pug mill, a jigger machine, or potter's wheel to process clay. Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Lonely.
But you don't like people?
There you go.
Maybe think of the movie Ghost when they're making a clay pot with a ghost.
Yeah, but I'd definitely make a pot with her.
Or him. Well, not anymore, as he's dead.
Yeah, that mullet was fucking solid.
Number 8, transportation equipment painters. So people that paint public transportation equipment.
Yeah, well, I guess they get to it before anyone is using the transit.
There's no people
they're definitely
on it,
alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless you go paint the L
it would be
train.
pretty funny if there's like a parallel track like attached to it that's just spray painting it. Like, I hate my life.
Forging machine setters, operators, and tenders. They set up, operate, and tend forging machines to taper, shape, or form metal or plastic parts. A lot of factory jobs. It just sounds terrible.
I feel like a lot of these things, you're in some kind of an assembly situation, or
you'd have to talk to people,
or something where but some of these things are very, very intricate, focused. Like you wouldn't. I mean, this doesn't mean that you go home and assemble factory stuff, but yeah, you're definitely not talking to anybody at work.
How about a faller? Someone who uses an axe or chainsaw to fell trees.
That's what it's called.
Yep, a faller. 11, hand grinding or polishing workers. Number 12, geological sample test technicians. 13, molding, core making, cast making setters, operators, and tenders. Number 14, garment or textile pressers. 15, craft artists. Number 16, poets, lyricists, and creative writers. Those are really smart people.
Yeah, but
required sociability score 52. Farm workers and crop laborers. hunters and trappers.
Well, they don't like animals either.
They hunt and trap wild animals for human consumption. Thank you for the definition. Required sociability score of 51. What do you think of those?
I don't know. So I guess that they should change it to people who don't like to work with people.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Because
you're doing all those things alone.
Yeah, it's a little odd if you have like a teammate when you're making a craft.
Yeah.
Like, hey, tell me what you think about this tie that I just made. Like,
well,
I don't know that these people necessarily hate people. They just like to work in a solitary environment.
But it definitely isolates you from the public. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, like I work remotely.
Thing. Yeah.
I don't hate people. I just don't want to sit at a desk because my back hurts.
But then, like even those type of jobs, they take you away from like an office setting where you're not required for the small chit chat.
It definitely does take its toll on
right. Because sometimes you could be in an office setting regardless of the industry, and it's like, oh, so my little Jimmy had his his rehearsal late yesterday, and let me tell you all about it. It's like, all right.
Well, yeah, there are conversations you want, and then there are ones that you wish you were at home.
I don't need to hear about your
Jimmy.
Yeah, about little Jimmy's dance show, his dance recital. Sorry, but anyway, so those are job opportunities for you if you hate working with the public. But here's the great thing about it. Most people that work with the public actually hate people. So it always just works out well for customer service.
It's like some kind of a sick, twisted irony involved.
All right, so this past Thursday, the Chicago Bears kicked off their preseason with a loss to Denver. And, of course, the big story was the Hall of Fame bust that is being prepared right now for Mitch Trubisky, the Bears' number 2 pick in the draft and eventual starter quarterback, and his performance was so overwhelming that the city almost shut down.
And this is surprising, because generally people really like the backup. The fact that they are now elevating the third stringer is also impressive.
Well, I mean, but as we were talking about, Jay, he performed really well. He looked great. And, again, the level of competition wasn't even close to what a starting defense is going to look like. He wouldn't perform that same way against a starting defensive unit. But even with all that said and taking all that in, the fact that he looked that good is very encouraging, but it shouldn't lead you down roads of stupidity at this point in his career.
And that's what we want. We want from our young players. I mean, like we can even take a step back from just him. Like, we're not doing sports analysis on this show, but in all honesty, people are very, very crucial of draft classes. And our exposure to them, unless they're immediate starters, is to see what they can do in preseason. And not only Trubisky, who played very well. I mean, we wanted to see some things from him. We wanted to see him be able to take snaps from under center, read, be able to diagnose, be able to make plays on the move, which is what he did all through college. He did all of the above. He put some points on the board. That's what you want. But he did it against third-string talent. It's fine, though. We're allowed to be encouraged. Let's just not get ridiculous about it. But then look at the rest of them. We've got the small schoolers. We've got Cohen, and we've got Shaheen, both who had very good games. Cohen especially, like I told you, like that guy, people lose him behind the line, and all of a sudden he gets 30 yards. Like
right.
These are going to be very, very good players, and Eddie Jackson too made some very good plays. It's finally nice to see someone, I don't know, going after the ball in the backfield. So, other than just Trubisky, I think people should take note that this draft class might be a little bit better than you thought.
All right, other things happening in the world of sports on the baseball side of things. Wilson Contreras goes to the DL. The Cubs start today in a first-place tie in the NL Central with the St. Louis Cardinals, which is pretty surprising. But
are they on a big run? I
don't even know.
I just right before we walked in here, I thought I saw a headline saying St. Louis, the Cardinals have won blah blah blah. Eight in a row, or something.
They probably have in order to get to the point where they were. Because I know last time I checked, they were third or fourth place in the Central, and now they're in a first place tie with your Chicago Cubs. The White Sox actually had themselves a week, and the only reason I mention this is because Tuesday, my brother Dan and I took his son Sam and our nephew Tommy to the Sox game at Guaranteed Rate Field, or as Jim Rose called it, the GRF on one of the 10 o'clock newscasts. Yeah, over at the GRF, they actually swept the Houston Astros, one of the best teams in baseball. So we went to the Tuesday game, and I was thinking we'd see Dallas Keuchel shut the White Sox down, and I thought we'd
Dallas
see the Houston.
Keuchel?
Yeah.
All right.
One of the best pitchers in the league right now. won the Cy Young 2 years ago. I think had an off season last year. The White Sox started Derek Holland on Tuesday, and I thought Holland for sure would get rocked by the Astros offense. And it happened quite differently, where the White Sox really took it to Dallas Keuchel, and they won the first game. They actually swept them. It was great too. I got tickets from my cousin who works over at WLS, and emailed me the tickets. And when I got the email, Jay, I just confirmed that the tickets were there. Like, I opened up the PDF, and I'm like, oh, here's 4 tickets, good to go. Didn't do anything else with it. Didn't read them, didn't look at them. I just saw where they were. They were like box 146.
Nice.
Got 4 tickets, good to go. Get to the stadium, gates open, walk in. Guy goes to scan it. He's like, oh, I can't scan these tickets. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, these need to be printed out. I'm like, no, you can scan things on phones. He's like, well, yeah, you can. Some can, but not these particular ones. These needed to be printed. And I'm like, oh, so can you just look and see that they're actual games and just let us through? And he's like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? He's like, well, go to the ticket window. They'll help you out. So I walk out, go back to the ticket window, and I'm like, I got these tickets on my phone from the radio station. Just need you to print them for me if you can. I'll give you the email and blah, blah. Oh, I don't have any way to print here. I'm like, there's no way within
in the ticket office,
in this ticket office or anywhere for you to print. I mean, it's not like there was a line of 80 people behind me trying to buy tickets. I'm the only guy at the window, and he was like, yeah, nothing I can do.
Number 17 on the jobs for people who hate people.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm like, you won't help me out in any way? And he's like, no, nothing I can do. I'm like, well, what do you suggest? He goes, well, there's a FedEx office about 7 blocks down. You just, you hop in your car and get over there.
So I'm like, just go to Kinko's.
Right. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Cool.
I'm not going to go to Kinko's. But thanks for all your help. Hey, so by the way, what are your cheapest seats today? He's like, $7. I'm like, all right, give me 4 of those. Why?
Because I'm going to sit in them.
He's like, you have tickets. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't get in with these, and you won't help me out. So I'm going to buy 4 of your garbage tickets.
Instead of
I'm going to use
FedEx
those
Kinko.
to get in to the stadium, and then we're going to go and then go sit in our good seats. Oh, that's a real good idea. I'm like, yeah, it's what I have to do since you won't help me at all, and because I'm stupid for not reading the tickets. But I'm like, you get an email tickets. You just assume 2017 you can walk in. I've done it at the United Center for Hawks games.
Right.
The Hawks send me tickets. I can walk in. They scan my phone. I walk right in and go to the game. So whatever. And I looked at the tickets enough to see the barcode, but like whatever. So fine. So I paid $28 to get 4 seats in the 500 level, which the entire section was empty. And then walk in and we sit, in the nice seats in box 146 and get to see the White Sox actually beat the Astros, which was so exciting. But it was like on pace, like a 4.5-hour game, so we left in the 7th. Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, sorry, friends. But I noticed they had a 10,000. The first 10,000 fans on Thursday's game got a T-shirt. And I counted the people in the game Tuesday, and it was like 4,000. So, I wonder, what do you do on those sponsor nights? Like, do you go back to the sponsor and like, hey, here's 6,000 of your T-shirts. Sorry we couldn't give them all away, but we do appreciate the fact that you gave them to us. And it also reminds me, as I mentioned here, we're talking a little sports and mentioning the Blackhawks. A good guy, Eddie Olczyk, if you haven't heard the news, going through a battle right now with prostate cancer. And just wanted to mention that if you hadn't heard it, if you're a man, woman, family that prays and thinks of those things, keep Eddie O in your prayers. One of the nicest and best guys in this business that I've ever met. Had an opportunity to do some work with him a long time ago. He actually did some weekend shows at the Score. It probably has to go back to 2004, maybe even 2003, the fall there of 2003. Or no, it even go further than that, when I was with Murph and Fred. So end of 01 or 02, Eddie must have done some weekend shows. I produced weekend shows and got to be like kind of a pal with him while he was there doing the stuff. But always been a great guy coming on different shows and is the best hockey analyst in the country. And then, of course, you guys know, if you know me from the station, you know that I like horse racing. Eddie O is always involved on NBC's broadcast of the Derby.
Oh, I did not.
And is actually great in horse racing too. Yeah, he's a big part of their Derby coverage. I mean, he's awesome. On there for hours and really understands how to read programs and break down races, break down horses. Does a great job with it. So, thoughts and prayers out to Eddie O and his family, what he's going through right now.
Yeah, I personally haven't had any experience with him, but just indirectly through working with CBS Radio, and then definitely people who know him through WGN. I've heard nothing but complimentary things, not only on his broadcasting prowess, but just on
as a person,
on just being a really good dude.
Yep.
So
yeah, an absolute world class guy. So Thoughts and prayers out to him. Absolutely,
sure.
100%. So all the best work and doctors for you, Eddie O, and hopefully you get through this in a nice, speedy recovery as well. This is the Baticola and Ferrari Discuss Everything, Episode 3. It's called Chester. We want to thank you for downloading the first 2 episodes. Keep going strong for us. We do appreciate it. You can follow us on Twitter at AFDE Show, on Facebook at facebook.com/AFDE Show. Email the program. Remember, we're looking for books for Jason to read. You can also mail those books to him. He'll give you his address or meet you at your house. And also, we need lists of guilty pleasure movies for women. So ask your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance,
your neighbor,
who's a woman.
The lady who sits next to you at Denny's. Whatever.
Walk up the stairs from the basement. Ask your mom what it is that she watches for a guilty pleasure. And email afdeshow@gmail.com. Once again, big thanks to our presenting sponsor, Mickey Finn's, Lake County's first and original brew pub, located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Thanks for listening to Chester. We will see you in episode 4.
Oh, yeah.